Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to continue with the history of class 9 lesson number 2, and today we are going to discuss unit number 3 of lesson number 2, socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. And this is the fourth video of this series, and already we have done 3 more videos earlier, and if you have not seen the videos you can go to the playlist and you can find out the videos that are given. Not only that, the earlier chapter also the videos of the earlier chapter, the French Revolution, is also given there, and you can also see all this and you can clear your doubts. Now let us proceed and try to understand. Today our topic will be unit number 3, the Russian revolutions, the February Revolution in Petrograd. In the winter of 1917, the conditions in the capital Petrograd were grim and serious. Why? Because the layout of the city already seemed to emphasize the division among its people. Here we come to know that when the capital was made, it was first St. Petersburg, later on it was changed to Petrograd, and here the workers' quarters and the factories were located on the right side of the river. That is the river's name was River Neva, and on the right side, just suppose this is the river and this is what we we write here workers quarters on the right side, and here only workers only could stay, and on the left side were the fashionable areas where the Winter Palace and the official buildings and all the rich people, including the palace where the Duma met, the parliament met, all were there on the left side. So here there is a clear distinction of the society where the poor people are to be given less importance, and they are on the one side. And here you can see on the left side in the illustration, this is the river, and there the workers used to stay, and there the rich people or the official buildings and Duma and all these were situated this side. In February 1917, food shortages were deeply felt in the workers' quarters. So on the left side of the river Neva, the food shortage was growing high, and winter was very cold that year in the year 1917, and there had been exceptional frost and heavy snow, and too much cold was there. And even the parliamentarians, the people those who were the members of the Duma or the Russian parliament, wished to preserve the elected government. Why? Because they were opposed to the Tsar's desire to dissolve the Duma, and the Tsar or the king was always wishing that he had a desire to stop or completely dissolve the Duma. And this was what at the time. On February 22nd, a lockout means a certain factory had been completely locked. A lockout took place at a factory on the right bank. Now what happened is that the workers in 50 factories, all of them shared solidarity, and they showed different kinds of concern, and they called a strike in sympathy. In many factories, women led the way to the strikes and decided that they also should be an important part of the struggle. And this came to be known as the International Women's Day. Why? Because on 22nd February, as most of the women, around 50 such kind of factories were there, from there all the women, most of the women were taking the lead, and that is why this date came to be known as the International Women's Day. Now, demonstrating workers crossed from the factory quarters to the center of the capital, and the name of the capital was Nevsky Prospect. And here we come to know that these people were demonstrating. Why? Because they wanted their rights to be given to them. And as they were working in a place, but the factory was closed and they did not get any money also, and they had their families, so at this stage they wanted to go and meet the center, that is the government, the capital. And at this stage no political party was actively organizing the movement. However, no political party was supporting them. As the fashionable quarters and the official buildings were surrounded by the workers, they crossed the river and went to the other side. At that time, every building, all the fashionable areas, all the rich people where they used to stay there, these were surrounded by the workers. Then the government imposed a curfew, and they told them to go away from there. The demonstrators dispersed by the evening, they went away, but however they came back again on the 24th and 25th of February, and they surrounded the area. The government called the cavalry means the soldiers on the horseback, and the police to keep an eye on them. But what happened? Did the people go back? This is the picture you can see here, and this is the Petrograd Soviet meeting in the Duma, February 1917. This is another picture. So on Sunday 25th February, the government suspended the Duma. So government was already, like the Tsar was already taking the opportunity that when the Duma will be suspended, and he got the chance. And this is how on 25th February, on Sunday, the Duma or the parliament was suspended. Politicians spoke out against this measure and said it is not right on the part of the government or the Tsar. Demonstrators returned in force on the street of the left bank on the 26th of February, and on the 27th of February, the police headquarters were ransacked. They entered the police stations and the police headquarters, and they tried to destroy the things. They tried to occupy those areas. The streets thronged or filled with the people and raising slogans, and they were about bread and wages and money, salary and better hours of working and democracy they needed. The government tried to control the situation and called out the cavalry, the horseback soldiers once again. However, the cavalry also came, but they refused to fire on the demonstrators. Why? Because they felt that they are not wrong. An officer was shot at the barracks or building of a regiment of an army group, and the three other regiments also mutinied and went against the authority, voting to join the striking workers. And by the evening, the striking workers, all the people had gathered to form a Soviet or a council or a group in the same building as the Duma met. So as the Duma was not in active position now, that is why they went and took over that. That is the picture that I showed you a little while earlier, and the last page. And this was the Petrograd Soviet. So Petrograd Soviet was actually the group of the striking workers and the soldiers, the cavalry, who had joined and made the Soviet or the council in the same building as the Duma met. The very next day, a delegation or a group went to see the Tsar or the king. Military commanders advised him that you have to abdicate or surrender yourself, and you will no longer be the king. And he followed their advice, and he surrendered his title. He abdicated his throne and abdicated on 2nd March. Soviet leaders and Duma leaders formed a provincial government, temporary government, to run the country for the time being. And Russia's future would be decided by a constituent assembly. They will make a group and elected on the basis of the universal suffrage, where all the women also would be able to give vote and get the members elected in the constituent assembly. It was a great change from the time of the Tsar. And Petrograd had led the February Revolution that brought down the monarchy, and finally the Tsar was brought down. Monarchy was stopped, was removed in February 1917. Although he abdicated the throne, but in a way we can say that he was not in power. Here we can see a picture, a small paragraph about the women, about the role of the women. Now let us see 3.1. After February, what happened? Army officials and the landowners and the industrialists were influential in their provincial government. So as the provincial government or the temporary government was formed, the army and the landowners and the industrialists became more powerful and influential. But the liberals as well as the socialists among them worked towards an elected government. They said that very soon we must give the power to the people and the election should take place. The government should be elected properly by the people. Restrictions on the public meetings and associations were removed. Earlier, as the people could not do any kind of meetings and association, these all stopped, and these all were removed now. And these Soviets or the groups like the Petrograd Soviet were set up everywhere, though no common system of election was followed. So we could find that democracy's seeds had been ingrained in the hearts and in the minds of the people, and this idea spread like wildfire, and the Soviets came to be formed everywhere. In April 1917, the Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin returned to Russia from his exile. So here he was exiled, or he was put as a punishment to go away from his country. The meaning of the exile is that as a punishment someone is sent away from his or her country. So he returned to Russia after 3-4 years, and he came back, and he and the Bolsheviks, the members of his group, had opposed the war since 1914 only. They never wanted the people to take part in the World War, First World War. Now he felt that it was the time for the Soviets or the groups to take over the power now. And how he would do that? He declared that the war be brought to a close, and that the war was going on, and he said this war should be stopped completely. We should not take part in the war. Land should be transferred to the peasants. All the farmers and peasants should get the land, and banks should be nationalized. All the banks should have the policy of nationalization. They should have one connection with each other. And these three demands were the Lenin's April thesis. So this is very important. And what were the three thesis, or what were Lenin's three April thesis? This is what is the answer. That is, land be transferred to the peasants, war to be brought to a close, and the banks to be nationalized. He also argued that the Bolshevik party rename itself as the Communist Party to indicate its new radical aims. Whatever aims or whatever radicalism, whatever changes, dynamic changes they wanted to bring, that should be reflected by the word Communist Party. Most others in the Bolshevik party were initially surprised by the April thesis, and they thought that the time was not yet ripe for such kind of change. But however, this Russian socialist revolution and the provincial government needed to be supported. But this development of the subsequent months changed their attitude. How? Let's find out. Now, their attitude changed in the upcoming months, in the subsequent months. Through the summer, the workers' movement spread everywhere, all over Russia, and in industrial areas, factory committees were formed which began questioning the way industrialists ran their factories, how they are running their factories, what are the rules and regulations, are they giving proper money and proper facilities, proper working hours or not. Trade unions grew in huge number, and soldiers committees also were formed in the army. Now even the soldiers also had groups, and they had their own committees. In June, about 500 Soviets sent representatives to an all Russian Congress of Soviets in the national level, and 500 Soviets or 500 groups were like sending representatives. They sent representatives to an all Russian Congress of the Soviets. And here you can see one picture of Lenin, a Bolshevik image of the Lenin, where he is looking at the people and representing his ideas. So all the Russian, as the provincial government saw its power reduce, the Bolsheviks' influence grew. It decided to take stern measures against the spreading discontent, and it resisted attempts by the workers to run the factories and began arresting the leaders. They said, we must control them, we must lead the government, and the leaders must be arrested. And popular demonstrations staged by the Bolsheviks in July 1917 were sternly repressed and stopped, and many Bolshevik leaders had to run and go into hiding or flee away from there. Run away from there. Flee means run away from there. Meanwhile, in the countryside, in the village areas, peasants and the farmers and their socialist revolutionary leaders pressed, or they argued for a redistribution of the land. The land should be given to the farmers and the peasants. Land committees were also formed to handle this. Encouraged by the socialist revolutionaries, peasants seized the land between July and September 1917. So the peasants became so powerful, they began to take away the land from them. And here is the picture. You can see the July days, a pro-Bolshevik demonstration on 17 July 1917, and how the people were attacked and how they were being fired upon by the army, and so many people had died also. And this is how the people were trying to be against the government, and they try to take the power in their own hands. The next topic will be 3.2, the revolution of October 1917. We'll discuss about that, what happened in the year 1917, and how the revolution became more intense, and the conflict between the provisional government and the Bolsheviks grew, and what happened during that time. So till next time, all of you, please see. Thank you.